And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster. I am discombobulated. I was just on a conference call trying to get everything squared away for tomorrow. And I don't know how my screen changed again. It is interesting that these resets happen on this what we have here, this wonderful platform called StreamYard. It sometimes changes, it resets in the morning or resets when I go back. So anyway, let me just put back all my stuff. Yeah, there we are. There we are. Let me get back all my graphics. I was like, what happened? What happened to everything? What happened? What happened? So, guys, how you doing today on this wonderful Tuesday, Tip Tuesday? And we will be talking about today mastering composition in smartphone photography. So that's later. And but we're also going to be talking about the 100 days. There's 100 days this dump fire has been going on here in America. And how are you doing after 100 days? Are you feeling great, America? Are you feeling great, America? Are you feeling great again? Whatever that means. Are you feeling great? Huh. Tell me, are you feeling great? And not many people are. Not many people are. And what has been accomplished in these last 100 days? What has been accomplished in this 100 days? Mm. Any gains? Anything positive? Anything positive? Anyway, Hannah says, good morning, Ron and Touch Base Daily family. Good morning. And she says, hi, Ron. I'm working in my yard today while I have help. And also, Cass says, blessed Tuesday, all. Blessed Tuesday. It is in New York City. It is beautiful. It is going to be one of the best days of the year. Temperatures ranging from 80 to the 70s, and there's not a cloud in the sky. Not one cloud in the sky. And it's just a nice breeze outside. It is a beautiful spring day, feeling like a late spring day in New York City. And so I'm going to go out for my walk after this. And I was just squaring away some of last minute stuff that I had some changes for tomorrow's event. So I'll be photographing for my client. Verizon that'll be great tomorrow, and it's also for Forbes. So I can now tell you what it's for. So some photos for Forbes magazine, and we'll see which ones they love and which ones they use and all that other stuff. I just go to facilitate and take the pictures, and they make the decision on which pictures get published or whatever they're going to do with them. And so Bryson says, what's up, Ron? What's up, RP fan? What's up, everybody? Happy Honora Tuesday, fresh off that Cowboy Carter tour night one. Yes, last night was the first night. Was it in California or was it in Colorado? I know it was a C. I think it was it California or Colorado. I can't remember where it was. I think it was California. Bryson says again, with doo done, absolutely not. Janet is in the building. Good morning, Ron, Hannah, Bryson, and all. It's so good to see you, Hannah. Miss Hannah. Janet is in the building. And Mimi is in the building. Good day, Ron and RLP crew. How are you? Yes, it was LA. Okay, I got it right in the first one. Okay, I just want to make sure. I was like, okay, I had a C in my head. I was like, I knew it was last night in California, but I knew, Bryson, you would have that information. So thank you, Bryson. It was LA. The Queen Bee was out on the stage, and then I saw so many people that again, like last year, or was it 2 years ago? I can't remember how fast these years are going by, are spending some cash to go to these concerts. I mean, not only the cash of the tickets, but wardrobes. They are dressing the part for a Beyonce concert. I don't know how that works. I've never been that kind of fan for anyone, but there are some hardcore Beyonce fans, and they are using their dollars to share their approval of the queen bee. So, anyway, that's how it goes out there. And if you're out there, make sure you hit the likes and let people know that we are on board here. Oh, I forgot to let folks know that we are here on Instagram, right? Gotta invite the Instagram people, right? Why not? Why not invite the Instagrammers? And so other than that, so today, and I know it's the 100 days of this new administration. And I also said I don't want to dwell on the of 47. I want to be like Derek and a couple of you guys who have chosen not to say his name. Um, but for 47, we're not going to really talk about 47 per se, but we're going to talk about some things that you need to be aware of. And I have one thing you need to be aware of. And as I put this in here, hold on a second. I already had it on my screen. Oh, there we go. There we go. I knew it would take us there. And I want y'all to see something. And this is not to scare you, but it is to help you prepare. Can I say that again? It is not to scare you, it is to help you prepare. Here we go. I want you to see what's happening. And this is from James Costro's Empty Ports, Sign of a Looming Economic Crisis. And what is happening, y'all? And I'm going to share a bunch of headlines. A bunch of headlines so that way you know this is serious, because some folks are talking about it, some people are not talking about it, but you need to be aware of it. And again, empty port, sign of a looming economic crisis. Chicago Tribune, Tribune. Empty ports, empty shelves, Trump tariff battle set to hit home soon. Retailers warn of empty shelves as U.S.-China trade war disrupts shipments. Port of Los Angeles warns difficult decision ahead as shipments from China cease. Hey, Chris is in the building. Y'all, Chris is in the building. Mr. Edwards is in the building. I want y'all to, you need to see these. Look at this. Cargo, 35% decline in cargo arriving in the port of Los Angeles in the next weeks. Trump trade war means empty shelves are looming. How long until consumers feel the pain? The last ship from China arrives on May 10th. After that, no more. No more. No more ships arriving in America. No more. Yeah. So, what is it? Why am I bringing this up to you guys? As you know, if I'm thinking about some things, I'm talking to you about it. If you know that you have things that need to be purchased, you need to do it now. And what I mean by this, do you need medicine? Do you need things that are made by China that you may need for your life existence? If you have medicine, you may want to put in it. You might want to ask your doctor or ask for a early, maybe double up on your prescriptions, because a lot of our medicine comes from China. A lot of the ingredients in our medicines and prescriptions, things that you find in the drugstore, come from China. You might want to stock up on some of those painkillers that you might have to use. You might want to stock up on, for those of us who have allergies, stock up on that kind of stuff. I mentioned I was talking to one of my friends yesterday. Last week, was it last week and a half ago, I went to Trader Joe's. And my favorite Italian olive oil, extra virgin, excellent olive oil, gone. All of the import olive oils were gone off the shelf. Now, they did make a comeback so that was 2 weeks. So last week they did bring more back. But I stocked up and brought home 3. I said, this time bring it home 3, not just 2. I'm bringing home 3. And then if I go back today, which I'm doing my walk today, I will see if they got any more, because I love my olive oil. It's important to my existence. It's good for the skin. It's good for your salads. It's good to have. It's good for your blood circulation. Olive oil does so much, and I need my olive oil. I also use avocado oil for cooking. And so, guess what Ron has done and will do today? I will go and get my avocado oil and my coconut oil. All the things I like to cook with, I'm going to get. Because those imports are not going to be around, especially if it comes from China. And the other ones are going to be slow. That's just the way the port system works. So going on, empty ports reflect growing fears in Trump's trade showdown. Tariffs prompt slump in shipments to U.S. ports. NBC, product shortage and empty store shelves loom with falling shipments from China. Then it's people showing off the empty ports. Ships that usually are in the ports are no longer. They're empty. They are saying this is going to make remember the shipping problems we had during COVID? Remember that? Remember that thing that caused inflation? Remember that thing that caused inflation? So, guys, I say this because this is the result of 100 days of incompetence, of stupidity, of ignorance, of no ability to assess the situation. That's where we are today. But guys, look into what's important to you during this time, because the shelves are going to become empty. And they say after May 10th, you're going to start seeing less and less stuff on the shelf. And if your place of buying products is Walmart, it's over. They said Walmart went to the president and said, "Hey, you got to stop this, because in weeks we will have nothing on the shelves." Retailers are telling them there will be nothing on the shelves. So in June, there may not be anything on some of these shelves in some of these companies. Get what you need now. Get what you need now. They're already saying places like the Temu, Temu, Temu. Prices already gone up on Temu. I don't shop at Temu, but that's what they say. Prices have gone up. Amazon is going to start posting the high prices soon. And they're going to put the price that it would be and the price because of the tariffs. The tariffs will be reflected on Amazon. That's where we are, y'all. Get ready. Yeah, that's where we are. Mimi says, I was just on the earnings call for UPS. They are closing some locations and moving away from Amazon deliveries. They emphasize the moving to automation, mentions China tariffs, but played it down. That's right. Listen to what the stockholders are saying. Listen to what the stock reports are saying. Not the stockholders, but these stock meetings. Hey, Lady G is in the building. She says, "Good day, sneaking in just to like the show." Thank you for your support, Lady G. Mimi says, "There are shortages of plastic gloves and certain things. Stock up on your needs." Yes, if you need gloves, masks. Well, we don't make a lot of them here in America. We make some, but most of it comes from China. Just in case. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. You don't know what outbreak could happen. Get some extra supplies. Cass says, "I have been collecting various holistic recipes that can be made naturally." She says, "Use avocado and the oil." Mimi says, "Oh, olive oil has been hard to find for a while. Stock up." Cass says, "Also saved one for mango. And how can each part of it? No waste. We're getting back to the old days. We waste nothing." Yes. Cass is speaking here today. I like your FYI post about the tea party. That was on my Instagram, I do believe. Janet Fisher says, "Longshoremen will be marching on the White House because they'll be losing their jobs in 3 weeks." They already said. That's why that one of those articles was they're deciding at the ports what to do with the workers. There's no work. So guess what? They're not going to pay these people. They're not paying these people just sit around the docks. No, no, no. They're going to lose their jobs. Right? Cass says, "I also saw more solar lamps, lights, and other items on shelves now." Some of these companies are banding together too as a response to Target. G says, "I get my olive oil from South Carolina." Janet says, "Prices in the 99-cent store are already up to $2, going to $4. That's what they said. The dollar stores are no longer $1. No longer $1. Hit the likes. Hit the likes if you want to. And make sure you write some comments in here. I would love to hear what you have to say. What are you thinking about? What are you doing? What are you doing as a community? What are you doing as you see, as you know this warning is out? This warning is real. This is a real, this, as they say, is not a drill. Elise says, good morning, everyone. This is not a drill, y'all. This is not a drill. This is real. Jazzy says, good morning, beautiful people. I can't stay, but I just dropped in to hit the like and say hi. Look at the commitment of the folks in this community, dropping in just to hit the likes. And if you're already here, hit the likes. There you go. Thank you, Jazzy. She says, Janet Fisher, $4 at the 99-cent store. They need to change that. There's no more 99-cent stores. Or at least they do have them, but nothing is 99 cents. Nothing's 99 cents. Hey, Fifi. Fifi's in the building. That's where we are, y'all. That's where we are. I still haven't gone live on Instagram. There you go, Papa. Let me turn this on Instagram. I mean, today I'm all discombobulated. Yes. Yes. I want you to hear something, and I'm going to see if I can bring it up on the screen. And but what do you guys think? What are you hearing on these streets? What news reports are you hearing? What are you listening to? What news that you want to give to the community and to warn? Yes, Antonio's in the building. He says, Mr. Anthony says, good morning, back home in McKinney. He's back from New Orleans. Yes. All that good living, all that good food, all that good music, Mr. Anthony. But the shipping yards, guys, they said the last ship from China will arrive on May 10th. May 10th. And the last ships to arrive for some of the other countries will be in New York City. We have our Bayonne area here, Jersey, in the early weeks of June. This is going to get serious. And this is when America begins to feel it. See, right now, people don't feel it because people only understand what they feel. But when there's nothing on the shelves and we look like Russia or Poland in the 1980s or the 1970s, then they will begin to say, oh, maybe this guy is wrong for the economy. But some of them will still stick with them because they will say, he's doing it for the greater good. He's doing this for us. He is our loyal master. Yeah. Anthony said Amazon will put the tariff cost next to price of the merchandise. That's what we talked about. Elise says, this is when America realizes what we don't make or produce for ourselves. Chris says, this summer will be a reckoning. I believe that, Chris. I'm with you on that. People have no idea what's coming. But guys, we're talking about it today. So guess what? You know what's coming. If you have, speaking of, Chris is in the building. Chris Bale is in the building. Ron, the slow boat finally gets here. Yes, they will stick with him rather than admit the truth. Absolutely. Fifi says, I was just talking to my truck and sister with pools, containers. It's bad. And Fifi's on the road. Fifi delivers. You have someone in the community is true evidence. Not only do we see it in the in the scroll of news information, we got living proof right here. Living proof. Living proof right here. That was a rewind. When I do that, that's a rewind. Guys, it is time to stock up. It is time to stock up on everything that you get, that things that you need. You need to know what your medicines are, what those items where you talk to your doctor this week. If you are on medication and you need medication to survive, you need to ask your doctor, is this made in China? A lot of our products are made in China. And you need to ask, can I get an extra prescription? There may not be anything on the shelf. Hey, Dr. Tachi, she's in the building. She says hello. Guys, do y'all hear me in there? As I see people do. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Anthony says, I gotta make groceries today. Gotta get yeast, flour to get ready for the bread panic. Janice says, G, all over Concrete City, 99-cent stores aren't changing their signs, but you can't find anything under $1.25. What else are you saying? Cass says, on the positive side, more communities have an option to work together and create alternative solutions. Cass, you hit something. That's the next thing that we should talk about. Elise talks about this all the time. We talk about this all the time. None of us are strangers to this conversation. The only way we're going to survive is through community. Community. If you have a Costco card and your brother or sister doesn't have one, then you pull together and go to Costco's, buy in bulk, and divide. I remember years ago, my neighbor lived across the 2 blocks over, and we would get in my car. This is when I had a car. And we would get in the car. He would have the Costco card. I gave up my Costco card. Or one of us will have one. And then another person, another one of our friends, we would get in the car, head out to Costco's, buy things in the bulk, and then we divide it up, or we just got the bulk items for ourselves that we needed to put in our house. And then I had the car at the time, and I would just go, and then I'll just drop everybody off with their stuff. Because when you buy in bulk, you can't ride that on a bike. You can't just go on the train with stuff in bulk. That's why you see all those cars in Costco's. This is when you can say to your friend, you know what? Maybe we can get a Costco membership together. Like, you share the cost. A couple of you say, you know what? I got $10. I got $10. I got $10. I don't even know how much the membership is. I think it's like 37. Maybe it's $40 now. I don't have no computer. What's the cost of a Costco membership?
Here's what I found from RD.com. Costco memberships can cost anywhere between $60 to $120.
Oh, so they're $60 now. The minimum is $60. $60 for Costco memberships. So look at that. 3 people, 20, 20, 20. Better than 60. We are going into a new era in America. And a necessary one, a needed one. Community. I guarantee you there'll be more platforms like this one. More online communities forming. because everyone's going to need to survive. Community is how our ancestors, our forefathers survived. Bartered. Miss such and such, because she could make the hair. She did all the young girls' hair in the neighborhood. So they couldn't afford to go to the beauty parlor any longer. So they did the hair at home. But when they did the hair at home, then everyone also took care of her and gave her whatever, maybe it was butter, maybe it was bread, maybe it was whatever they went and got. Yes, indeed it does. Chris, your card has to be scanned to enter the store now. It's true. That's why you have to, and so that's why I say, even when we did it, we still had to show the card, but we had to go together. We would get in my car and we would go get those get the big giant push carts, usually two, one for me, one for the person, my buddy, if it's the third person, and we just fill the carts with the milk, the juice, all the things we needed. Yeah. Let's think outside the box, y'all. But again, we have literally, I know that sounds, well, don't want to scare you, but I want you to be wise. Get the things you need. You have a month. You have less than a month for a lot of items. And as people begin to see that things are, as it starts to, because you know how the media does. Once the media sees a couple of empty shelves, then it will be blasted across the media because, they got to sell papers, they got to sell online stuff. And then people will go at a rush like they did during COVID. There's no more toilet paper. No more this, no more that. Look at the shelves. Look at the shelves. They're empty. Right? So you are ahead of the situation right now. But when May 10th rolls around, that's the last ship from China. And it already left port. It's on its way. It already left China. That ship has already left China. There's nothing else coming. That is what one accomplishment. What I don't call it accomplishment. That's one thing that has happened in 100 days. You couldn't mess up something so badly. It's the most incredible. It's the most insane thing. What else says out there? That's the main thing I wanted to share with you today. I really didn't have much to talk to you about, but that was, and obviously I have my tip to share. Today was I just felt like I just wanted to just come on and just say, you know what, guys, beware. Don't wait till the last minute. I know I'm the king of procrastination. I am a procrastinator. I was born a procrastinator. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Let me send Fifi. Let me send you. Speakerphone won't work, but I know Fifi wants to join. Let me see, Fifi. I'm going to try to send you a link if you could join. I know you're driving. You might be driving, or you may be paused. Let me see. Let me see, Fifi, how I can get you on here. And if anyone else wants to pop on, you're more than welcome. I would love to hear your thoughts as well on the matter. Okay. Lady Driver, I just sent it to you. Just sent it to you, Lady Driver. Okay, there you have it. And I will just also copy that and make that on the link tree. So that way, in case any of you want to scan. But yeah, That's what's going on. Anything else you guys want that you think we should be aware of as a community? Right? What else should we be thinking about as these weeks go? But I think Chris is right. Chris said it's going to be a rough summer. People are losing their jobs, and when you start seeing the jobs really going away in the next couple of weeks, it's going to get ugly. And yes, that is real talk. That is real talk. Cass says, yes, or yes, awareness and informed. Do not panic. Exactly. G says, I'm in the summit doing my nails. What does that say? You should be here. See, you should be here, G. But I know you're getting your education. That's how you inform us. Yes, Fifi's perspective on the road is interesting too. So Fifi already sent the link to you. Email. Check the email. Check your email, girl. You can share the stage. Elise says she's confirming it. This summit is going to be ugly and crazy. The worst thing you can have, it's one thing when it's cold. People are not in the street protesting. People are not going in the street and tearing things down. But when you have people that are hungry and it's summertime, no weather is stopping them from hitting the streets. They're coming out. And if it's hot, they're going to be more angry. You don't want to be around hungry humans. A lot of our food, a lot of stuff comes from China. A lot of goods come from China. Mark that on your calendar, May 10th. Put it on the calendar, circle it, May 10th. And that's when things begin to dwindle from that day on. They're already starting. You go to some shelves, some stuff is not there. Like when I'm in Costco, some things are just not there. The good thing about Costco's is most of its stuff is local. So that's really a good concept. That's really the good concept, is that most of its stuff is local. Anthony Rollins says, for those of us who grew up surviving and having to figure it out, we're going to be okay. We've been there before. However, for those that have never struggled, this is going to hit them hard. Look, I remember as a college student, I couldn't afford to eat out. So I used to have my Raisin Brands, my milk. It would take me every morning. I would make big pots of rice, put lots of beans, mixed beans, and put them in the pot. Got my protein, got my carbs, get big bags of spinach. Now I eat kale. And I was fine for the week. We're going back to those days. Because I just talked to my buddy who owns the restaurant that I hang out in. He goes, they call me Mr. Mayor in the neighborhood here. And he said, Mr. Mayor, the prices are going to have to go up. I said, I knew they would. You can't eat all the costs. He was like, Ron, he was like, the plates, the containers, they now are double of what I paid for. They're now double already. Double. He says, I'm trying to hold off on raising my prices. But there's only but so much I can take and eat the cost, because that's just one thing that's doubled. Every time he goes out to get his, stock up on supplies for his restaurant, he's realizing that things are costing more. So there you have it. Okay, so 11:44. So we're gonna go into topics. We're gonna do some teaching here. Oh wait, my girl's on the back here. My girl's back here. I see she's now got the cable, the thing. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, I hear someone at the doorstep. Do I hear someone at the doorstep? Okay, here it goes. Somebody's at the door. It is. Oh, there she is. There she is. Let's bring her in. Let's bring her in.
You and that doorbell.
What's going on, trucker?
Hey, baby, how's it going?
Going well, going well. You are in.
Hey,
You are in
everybody.
it. You are in the mix on the road there.
Oh man, I'm just actually coming from Kentucky. I'm back in Carolina out here to Statesville to deliver. But there's I pick up and deliver to a lot of warehouses and stores. There's a lot of distribution centers here in America. There's
Mhm.
very few things that are made here anymore, of course. But
Mhm.
right now, I'm carrying styrofoam, well, a special kind of foam. It's about 7,000 pounds. And, places like that, they make the stuff here. But I was talking to Tiffany this morning, and, tens of thousands of empty containers were delivered to California from China.
Mhm.
And right now, she's only worked 2 days a week for the last month since the
Mm.
tariff war really got bad. She's an owner op. Now she has another truck that she has another driver in. He picks up regular freight. So right now the regular freight is still running. It's been really busy out toward Tennessee, Virginia, Kentucky. It's looking like a normal busy trucking season, because I literally had a hard time trying to find a place to park last night. But I've always told my friends, when the first recession, when 2008, the Great Recession was going on, I always told my friends, just hang in there and let's see. And then once I started trucking, I always say, if you see trucking take a hit, that's when you really worry. When there's
Mm.
nothing to deliver, and
Mm.
this is the time to panic. If you want to panic smartly. Go to Costco, go to Restaurant Depot, get you a Restaurant Depot membership, and you can buy flour and
Mm.
rice and those types of things in bulk, meat. Um, you want to get some type of solar charger for your phone.
Mhm.
If you can, get a landline. You and your family get landlines so that you can have lines of communication with one another, just in case we end up in a situation like what Europe is dealing with now, which is more than likely a
Mhm.
cyber attack. But we have to think like that, because this is where we are.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I keep an extra stock of things on the truck just in case everything goes left while I'm on the road. So
Mm.
it's definitely keep water, gallon jugs if you got it. Get as much water. If you have any empty jugs, fill those up and save those, just like you would in the winter, waiting for a freeze over or something. But definitely you want to, some places at BJ's, wherever you can go and buy in bulk, get your canned goods, get things that'll be able to, dry goods, things that'll be able to last. Should we lose electricity and you don't have a freezer, you still want to be able to grill something, or make bread. You can still make bread in a grill. You can make bread in one of those brick ovens that you have outside. So you have to learn how to make a fire, but
Mhm.
these types of things, if you have cast iron, great. If you don't, get some cast iron. It really works well when you're cooking with open flame. Should you have to use a propane eye or a campfire, something like that, fireplace. But seeing everything that's going on in Europe and dealing with these shortages and stuff, we just have to be mentally prepared and understand that even though this is surreal, it's something that we can handle if we just have a plan.
You
Get
gotta have a
together with
plan.
your, got to have a plan. Your local farmers market, you know where they are. If you've never been to one, know where they are. Know where the local farmers are. They usually have a surplus of items. A lot of
Mhm.
stuff they end up having to throw away or they'll give away. So find the local farms in your area. Find out where the water sources are. If you should have to
Mhm.
get out and maybe go to a creek or a lake or something to get water to flush your toilet or something like that. But you know, th- and I hate to sound like a prepper, but it is what it is. They're the ones that's ready for this type of thing. But
Yes.
we can get ready without having to scavenge. Make sure you have matches. Make sure you have lighters. It's
Yes.
simple stuff. Make sure you have alcohol. These are the types of things that are going to be in shortage. First aid supplies. So you want to go ahead and get those things. You want to have first aid supplies on hand. Should any just because. Um, but Ron is not wrong. You have to stock up, and we do have to be very concerned. The outage in Europe is very concerning.
People
Absolutely.
are, yeah,
Um,
yeah. That, I mean, for those that
we're
don't know,
being tested.
there was an outage yesterday in Spain,
Hmm.
France, southern France, and also Portugal. And people
Absolutely.
subways, people were stuck in elevators, people were,
Hmm.
there was literally and there was no cell phones, everything shut down,
Trains
everything. And
stopped on tracks. I saw people standing out, waiting on the train to be able to move. So, we had a rolling brownout in New York a while back, the same thing. And now that Canada's saying that they, are going to, Ontario is going to back up on electricity in these three key states. These are things that we have to be prepared for, but you have to have food that will last. If you don't have refrigeration, you have to
yes,
have those things. If you can get together, just like Ron was saying, if you got a community that'll get together and purchase a food dehydrator,
mm,
you can dehydrate anything. You can make you can just dehydrate eggs and make egg powder, fruit, dehydrate that, all those things that'll make food last a little longer. If you buy a lot of fruit, that's a good way to preserve it. It's a great way
yeah,
to preserve it because you can still powder it. You can still put it in a blender and make smoothies out of it to rehydrate it and still have nutrition. So it's a lot of little things, but they add up. Rice and beans and canned goods. The old school depression foods.
yeah, they
But
call it the depression list
yes,
of foods that
yeah,
there are the
yeah,
things that last, like dry beans and rice, and
yeah.
that stuff that you can just you know, put on the water. And I mean, gas stoves, if you have gas stoves, but if you have electric stoves, you can't use the stove. So I mean, there's so
Right.
many things to think about, but you need to be
Yes.
everyone needs to be thinking about their situation, because everyone
Yes.
has a different situation. And this is
Absolutely.
why I bring it up. What's going on after 100 days of this idiot in the White House? We are now, this is going to have to be our thought process every day, thinking about how can we um safeguard our
Survive.
situation and survive our situation.
Mhm.
You said you talked to some of the folks that were on, at the your friend who's at the ports.
Uh-huh.
um and they're saying that the last big shipment of goods from China is going to be on the 10th of May,
Yes.
and that ship is already on its way.
Yes.
But you're absolutely right, and I think, I mean, you're going to be a great pulse for our community, because you're going to be able to
Hmm.
say, "Hey guys, trucking is slowing down." Once
Yes.
trucking slows down, nothing is going to be on the
There's a
shelf.
problem. There's a problem. Anytime we don't
Yeah,
have anything to deliver, that's a crisis. But
yeah,
even in 2020, we never stopped running. It might have been, shortages, but we never
yes,
stopped running. And it depended on the area in America you were in as to what type of shortages or how much. So right now, the container ships have been trickling down for weeks now in
yes. They say, yeah,
Virginia, places like Georgia. So there's still a lot of stock within the country, in the warehouses, in the distribution centers. So right now I'm noticing like everywhere I go, all the trucks are coming at once. But I did
Yeah.
have one young man at a Lowe's that I delivered to. He said, I was on Reddit because I asked him, how's it going here, blah blah blah, and we were
Mhm.
talking about this situation, and he said that Reddit, some of the employees were talking on there, and they were saying we might be going out of business. I said, really? He says, just it's just people talking on Reddit, and I said, well, bro, like everything we touch is made in China, so if it doesn't go out of business, it might be a few stores closing. I don't know. The company I work for, we deliver windows, which
Mhm.
are made primarily of there's no wood, it's aluminum and glass. I deliver directly from a plant in Lexington, North Carolina, where they assemble it. Now I don't know where the glass is made, but I know that the work is done here.
Mhm.
That's construction, and construction is still looking fairly decent, but wood is going up. All the wood that you buy in Home Depot and Lowe's is astronomically higher this
Mm.
week than it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So construction
Everything's
is
gone
getting
up.
ready to be different. Yeah, construction is going to be a little different, but unfortunately, because we have all these investment groups building so much, I'll get through the summer without a slowdown. I don't
Yeah.
know, winter is normally a slowdown in construction. I just have no idea what we'll be doing next year. So for me, my prep is paying off everything, keeping cash on hand. Please, y'all, have some cash on hand. If you don't remember in 2020 when we couldn't get any more than $200 out of our bank account at any given moment, you need to have some cash on hand. Just take it out and put it away and don't think about it anymore, but have it.
Yeah.
I always keep
Yep.
some on the truck just because of those emergencies. Those people in Europe cannot use their
They
debit
couldn't use
cards
the
or
ATMs, anything
anything.
yesterday. Well, I'm gonna end it here
Yeah,
because I'm
yeah.
gonna go into the
So
lesson, and
yeah.
I gotta get off
All
early
right.
today. But thank you so much for
All
sharing your
right.
perspective. That was
Thank you.
awesome. And thank you,
All right, sweetie.
Fifi. Our Fifi is in the
Take care,
building.
baby.
Thank you. And she's on the road, so she knows and she sees the supply chain. And again, and like she said, it's busy now. And the reason why it's so busy, even though the ships are lessening, is because there's so many people that have put in extra orders. Like, for instance, like you had Apple that ordered lots and lots of stock on items. They were bringing airplanes in of loads airplanes through around the clock of items to make sure that they have on stock. So a lot of companies have also done the same thing. So they've doubled up over the last couple of months on supplies in preparation of the tariffs. So you're going to still see a lot of stuff, but after the 10th, you'll start to see stuff starting to dwindle down as those supplies get eaten. I mean, there's 360 million people in this country, right? So supplies can get eaten up, fast. So just be aware of that and be strong. So we're gonna do something. We're gonna do a quick lesson, and then we're out of here because I have to leave off of here early. I see the love there for Fifi, and also remember hurricane season is coming. Yes, Mimi, indeed. And Elise says a lot of businesses order things ahead of time. Yep. That's what we were just saying. Thank you, Elise. Okay, guys, let's go into the lesson already. Let's go into the lesson, and then we're gonna be out of here. We're gonna have an early dismissal. Early dismissal. So today we're gonna be talking about mastering composition in smartphones, smartphone photography. Now, a lot of this for you guys in this community is going to be repeats. So, just take in what you can, and we'll take it from there. But it's going to be a repeat for a lot of you. This kind of breaking it down just how these three items are going to help you in your photography. And this is a quick lesson, y'all, because for some of you, it's a review. Okay, so we know on the smartphone, what's the thing we want to do? After we clean our lenses or it's already set up on your phones, is make sure you set up the grids, the grid line in your phones. Set grid lines in your phone, in your settings. It says grid lines off or on. Cut that on. If you have a smartphone that is a Apple phone, just turn it on and it'll go green. It says grid line. If you got an Android, go into your settings of your camera and then hit grid lines. Grid lines will change the way you photograph. So again, you have your, again, you see here, these three lines, two lines down, two lines across, creating 9 squares or 9 sectors. And then you see that in the middle, there are 4 intersecting lines. Those are the focal points, right? And you want your subject to land somewhere on one of these points. Okay? So there you have it. I mean, that's really a rule of thumb. Okay, next. Ever wonder why some photos just feel right? That's composition at work. How elements are arranged to guide the viewer's eye and create impact. Like, here we go. There's a photo. You know something is right about this. Even though you might not know any of the rules. You might not know any of the rules, but you can look at this picture and say, this picture makes sense. Same thing here. You're like, don't know the rules, but something about this photo makes sense. Don't know the rules, but something about this photo makes me feel it's the right kind of picture. First thing, rule of thirds. We talked about that grid line, 1, 2, 3 across, 1, 2, 3 down. Break your frame into a 3x3 grid. Turn on the grid. Position key subjects along the intersections to create a balanced and dynamic image. Here we go. Someone was using the horizontal grids and just aligned the bookshelf with the grid. It's in 3 parts here, 3 even parts. The grid line. It is on the grid line. Here we have a young lady speaking to the audience. And someone said, let's use the grid line. She is in the first quadrant of the grid line, when you think about it, in 3 sections. And then the audience is in the last 2 sections of the grid line, right? She's in the first. The audience is in section 2 and 3, middle and right. Here, the photographer says, oh, I want to position the trees slightly on the first grid line. But again, if you notice that the tree is, if I drew a grid here, that tree would be on one of the intersecting lines, right? In this case, it would be on 2 of them. This photo has it, draw the line on horizontal, draw a line and going across, 1, 2, and then also coming down 1, 2, and you see those 3x3 quadrants. Leading lines. You hear me talk about this all the time. It's one of my favorites. Leading lines, roads, fences, shadows. Lines naturally lead the eye. Use them to draw attention straight to your focal point. Can I say again? Use them to draw attention straight to your focal point. Where's a leading line right there? Like you always see a lot of famous photos with piers, fencing, leading lines, the leading lines. Here's one. Here's a real evident one, a famous shot. And you have all the lines leading to the focal point. What's the focal point here? Anybody? Does anybody know what the focal point is? Please put it inside the chat. Do you know what the focal point is on this photo? Anyone? Anyone in class? Anyone? What's the focal point? What's the focal point? Okay, I guess the class is sleeping. The class has taken a break. The class is out to lunch. There's some folks still in the audience. I still see them. Don't all answer at once. The barn. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. Derek says, the house. Thank you. Thank you. There's someone alive. Next, leading lines. What are the leading lines here? What are the leading lines on this photo? Do you see the leading lines? Are they evident? And who is the focal? Who's the focal point on this photo? Who's the focal point? Because you got the leading lines, the fencing, the bricks, the street lines, all aiming, all coming down at her. Look at that. Moving to her. Look, all those lines pointing to her. They're like arrows pointing to the subject. There she is. She is the focal point. She is the subject. And the photographer wants you to see her. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Derek. Symmetry and framing. We've talked about this one, but here we go. We're talking about it again. Seek balance in reflections or architectural elements. Frame your subject within doorways or natural borders for extra depth. Right? Doorways, squares around the face, circles around the face. You know, everything's symmetrical, even on both sides, even up and down, even balanced. Here we go. Balance. Look at that. Blue chairs on the top. Well, it's greenish, so what do you call it? Turquoise chairs, and then the yellow chairs below. Balance. That's purpose. Symmetry. Symmetry. Look at these trees. Symmetry. Almost looking like a bookmark, right? So I say a book fold. My bad. A book fold. Right? The larger tree is on the ends, moving to the thinner trees in the middle. There you have it. Symmetry. Same thing on the left is the same thing on the right. The same thickness as they move thin. Symmetry, balance, balance. Same here, symmetry. Everything is even, moving out, even. Nice flow, balance. Right? Leading lines are so calming. They calm you. So this week, as I close, this was a quick lesson. Challenge of the week. Challenge for all you photographers out there, or you smartphone photographers. Apply one of these techniques to your next shot and share it. Share it with your friends. Let's elevate our storytelling through composition. Okay, guys? Let's try to do that this week. You want to be a photographer? You got some extra nice little tips right here that are going to help you become the photographer you want to be. There you have it. So get out there this week and share your photography. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, no, I won't see you tomorrow. I forgot. I almost said I was going to see you tomorrow, but that's not true. You will have the great Gwendolyn and Chris anchoring and sharing and being with you all tomorrow. I have no idea what they're going to talk about. I just know that they like to talk too, just like I do. So they're going to be here and they will be supporting you. Okay, guys. So have a great day. Again, stock up on things. Don't panic, but get ready. Okay. I hope this helps someone today. I hope this time together helped you. If you enjoyed this and you're here for the first time, hit the likes, hit the share of our channel. And I will see you tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you again. Later. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.